Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, what could be the last game in this series between Marine King Prime and Don Ragu at the Winter Arena in, I think it was February. This is another episode of StarCraft for Kids, and this is the kid bringing you this replay, and I'm really excited to bring this game to you. So far, this has been an incredibly fast-paced series. None of these games, I think, have made it past like the 16, 17 in-game minute mark, because so far we've just seen a lot of early aggression. We've seen a lot of not necessarily cheese, but like bunker rushes. So far I think Marine King has started every game with some kind of bunker rush, except for maybe game 2 that he lost to a Zergling rush. So go ahead, like this video, please subscribe. The more people I get to subscribe, the more videos I can do, the more time I can take to bring you guys some great footage, some great games, so that you can make your game better as well. So far, this is, of course, Antigua Shipyard, and I believe Don Ragu got to pick this map since he lost the last game. And kind of an interesting pick for him. It is really easy for you to take a second base on this one as a Zerg. Third base is also pretty simple, but after that it gets a little tricky because you're spreading yourself really thin. Like, you can either go here, which is kind of safe. It's really far from your other 3 bases, but it is less likely to be scouted. You can go here. This is not the standard version. The standard version, this would be a high yield expansion, but this is much more exposed, and siege tanks on this high ground can be very tedious to deal with and can be very tough to take care of. So both these players going to do everything they can to start this game off pretty standard. We've got a barracks going up by Marine King. It doesn't really, he's not even really trying to hide anything. And look at this, he's saving up his minerals. It looks like he's going to go for a fast command center, immediately building a Marine and sending it to the main base of the Zerg. So mainly just used for scouting, and here goes that scouting, and well, that SCV is going to drop down a command center right here. And this is pretty bold, considering that the last time Marine King opened up with a command center, kind of this early, he lost to a Ling all-in. But this time he did get the barracks out first, which will allow him to continue getting these Marines to defend, and throwing down 2 Vespene geysers. Most likely this means we'll see him throw down a reactor and a factory and get Hellions out, which will be incredibly helpful for him to defend against any early Ling aggression. So Marine King playing it moderately safe. I would still say this is a pretty early command center, and he's even building it on the low ground, so it's going to be hard to defend if there's a lot of early Lings. So we'll have to see what Don Ragu does. He does have the gas really early, enough to get his speed, which I would imagine as soon as he gets 100 minerals, he'll go ahead and do that, because he has pulled all of his drones off gas except for this one. This is pretty standard. It's nice because it does continue to give you gas, so that whenever you've finished doing your Ling tech, you can you can pump up to lair real quick if you'd like, or you can transition into roaches or banelings if you really need that emergency gas. So playing it pretty safe. Both of them. This looks like this could be just a macro game. Yep, and down here we have the reactor going down by Marine King Prime, and the factory going down right next to it. So Marine King playing a macro style, going to play pretty safe once these Hellions are out. Most likely use them for some map control, something like that. And as far as the income goes, pretty equal for both of them, especially since Marine King has those mules coming down. And Don Ragu, though, I don't know how much vision he has right now. Yeah, he's seen this command center. He hasn't seen the gas or the factory go down. So it could be he needs to get a little bit of scouting information. He needs to be careful that he doesn't get surprised by anything. But droning up incredibly heavily. Let's go back to the production tab and see what's going on. He is almost done with speed, and here we go. We're going to see these Hellions, and look at this. We do have that Roach Warren going down. He's dropping down a gas. Probably put another one right here, because you want to go for 2 bases. You want to go for 3 gas to pull off a good Roach build. So really not a whole lot to talk about. We do have this bunker right here. Marine King doesn't want to lose to another heavy set of Ling aggression. It doesn't really look like either of them have done an incredible amount of scouting. So they're both sort of playing a little blind right now, and Marine King playing pretty greedy right now. Seeing this dropping down a 3rd command center. Now, He does have 4 Hellions, but there is a Roach Warren in play. Now, if Don Regu had actually scouted this command center, he might be able to do a Roach all in and do a lot of damage to this, but instead just taking his own third. Once again, really standard by both of these players. Well, I guess not incredibly standard. You're not going to see a whole lot of Terrans throw up a command center this early, but it is nice for them on this map because you can throw siege tanks on the high ground here, and they guard this choke pretty well. You can drop some Marines in here. You can really easily wall off right here to keep Zergling run-bys from going in. And it's really easy for Terrans to guard all 3 of these bases. And look at this. Marine King going to go ahead and start building these wall-offs all over the place, giving this bunker some extra protection from surrounds by Zerglings and all those sorts of things. And even beginning siege tech, he's going to go ahead and switch right out of Hellions into what looks like Marine tank, yet throwing down another barracks. He's got 2 engineering bays down to get the upgrades out as quickly as possible. And I really feel like Don Regu needs to do some real scouting. He hasn't seen this expo yet. He hasn't even seen the factory. For all he knows, there's just a command center right there. He's going to do a little bit of scouting with these roaches, but you know, he's definitely playing in the dark right now, and even walking basically right past the command center. And this is going to give Marine King a really good economic advantage, especially with the mules that he'll be able to drop down, all of those extra things that he'll be able to do. Now, thankfully, Don Regu is going to get some good creep spread going. He does have, I believe, he has 3 queens. He got this one for this base a little early, so he could use it for creep spread, for getting those creep tumors down. And really, not a whole lot to talk about. Pretty standard out of Marine King. He is going for, there we go, for basically the Ling upgrades. He's going to go ahead and get the Infestation Pit. I do like this decision, but it is a little risky, and especially, I like the decision knowing what Don Regu knows right now. I don't like it because if he had scouted, he would have seen these siege tanks, and they could be a little rough, especially since it's going to be a while before these infestors are ready. First, you'll have the infestation pit finished, then he'll get the upgrade for the additional energy when they spawn, wait 30 seconds, and then start getting those infestors so they pop just as that upgrade comes into play. And that's pretty risky. That's a lot of time that basically he's letting Marine King do whatever he wants. And I've talked about this in earlier games. Zerg players, you gotta harass early. I mean, as much as it's important for Terrans to do the same thing, really, you need to be harassing. You need to be doing damage wherever and whenever you can, because if you let the Terran max out and macro up like this, then he will beat you, because a 200 supply Terran army versus a 200 supply Zerg army isn't really an incredibly fair fight. The Zerg units are more fragile. Granted, they are more mobile, but they're not as good in frontal assaults. Now, he has seen this base right here. He does know it's up, so he's going to go ahead and grab a 4th. He wants to make sure that he does have an economic advantage, especially being Zerg. No macro hatch, which is a little surprising, and going up to Hive. He's going to have this Hive done by the 13-minute mark, which is really pretty quick, especially considering that he really only has Lings and Roaches right now. I don't even know if he has a Baneling's nest. No, he doesn't. He did get the upgrade for the Infestors, which will be helpful, but he's pretty exposed right now. And if we look at the income, 86 Harvesters. He is definitely pretty high up on those Infestors, even going up to 98 Harvesters. I don't know if I like this. I think I'm a little nervous for DRG right now. Definitely getting a lot of Harvesters. Gonna sacrifice some army strength for that. Marine King gonna go ahead and throw up his 4th command center. And let's go ahead and see what's going on. We do have a Greater Spire and an Ultralisk Den going down, along with a 5th base. Oh, I gotta say, I mean, if he has the time, this could be really good. But it does look like Marine King is gonna push out with a really nice size army. He's gonna go ahead and have 2-2 done for his Marines when they get here, +1 for his vehicles. And as far as armies go, he definitely has the advantage right here. Marine King gonna pop ahead to see if he can't take some stuff out. Not very good fungal growth right there, and these siege tanks are gonna do a lot of damage. And Marine King just having his way right now with the armies of Don Regu. Now Donregu setting up a nice little flank. He's going to either try for a run by or keep moving ahead. And this is, oh, he's leaving a lot of his army by itself, and a lot of these overlords are gonna get sniped. This is not good for Donregu, and if he's not careful, he's gonna lose this base as well. Now Donregu, if he can get close enough to these tanks, he can take some out, which will take a lot of pressure off of him. But the Marines coming back just in time. A decent fungal growth on these Marines. This is looking a little rough for our Zerg player. He did clean this up pretty well, but he doesn't have a lot of tech to show for it. Now, he has the tech, but he doesn't have a lot of units to show for it. He has the Ultralisk Cavern. He will have 2-2 by the time any of them spawn. He does have these roaches, but siege tanks pretty dang good against roaches. This is a scary point, because this is a really easy place for Terrans to set up contains because of these 2 corridors right here. And Marine King gonna go ahead and reinforce this with these 2-2 Marines. He's gonna go ahead and start clearing out creep tumors and things like that. Now there are 6 Ultralisks on the way, and look at this, elevatoring right into the main base. I love this play by Marine King. This is just gonna force Donregu to use extra APMs for separating out his army and doing everything he can to fight on 2 fronts. And Marine King really taking advantage of the fact right now that his army is more mobile. And let's see what he can do right here. He is focusing down this Ultralisk. See if he can finish it before it's over. And wow, some Marine got the lucky shot. And this is looking really bad for Donregu. These siege tanks with +1 attack. These Marines are going to be at 3-3 any minute now. Now these Ultralisks will as well be 3-3, but not for a little while. And Marine King is just loving the position he's in right now. Even throwing down the Manor Mules. He knows where he is right now. He knows that Donregu cannot win right now, or at least he's confident in that. And look at this, not even using these mules to repair. He's that confident with this. Picking up the siege tanks to keep them, and there is the GG. Wow, what a series from the Winter Arena. I hope you guys loved it. And Zerg players, message to take away here. The biggest problem that Donregu had was he didn't have the intel, he wasn't scouting, and he wasn't being aggressive. He teched up super fast and wasn't ready for that push when it ultimately came. Marine King Prime really putting out a solid army and pushing just at the right time, and it paid off for him. He wins this Winter Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this. This is the end of this series for now. I will bring you more games as soon as I can. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next game.